Celestia's TIA token has soared from $2 to $20 in just 3 months. But with all those gains in the book, you're probably wondering, is it too late to buy TIA? Or are we looking at the next ETH or SOL potentially? Well, as always, we gotta analyze all the arguments both for and against buying TIA before coming up with our final verdict. Alright, starting with the case for buying TIA. Reason number 1 is that Celestia is the key to blockchain scalability. But to understand why you should even care about that, we gotta rewind a bit. During the peak of the last bull run, it cost like $200 in gas fees just to mint an NFT. Sometimes you'd have to wait days for your transaction to go through. Other times, well, everyone had to wait as the underlying chain itself crashed from all the usage. So that was quite bad to say the least. But now we have layer 2 blockchains that can help. And those are great, of course, but we still see that the latest and greatest L2s like Linea or ZK Sync suffer from the same issues such as high gas fees when they get overloaded. So the problem is unfortunately not solved yet, and we desperately need a long-term solution. Well, this, my friend, is where Celestia comes in. Unlike the early Swiss Army knife blockchains that try to do everything by themselves, from consensus to execution to data availability, Celestia only does 2 things: ordering transactions and making data available. Boy, does it do that well. On a high level, Celestia separates each function into its own specialized layer, and that lets them focus on each particular task. Another benefit of this architecture is that it makes them super easy to integrate with, like Arbitrum or Polygon, which hosts dApps and executes the transactions, can easily plug into Celestia. That way they can stop wasting time and resources on data availability and simply offload that to a lazy blockchain such as Celestia. This means that they can focus on providing a great user experience while Celestia handles the less sexy functions behind the scenes. This is the modular approach for designing blockchains, by the way, and it's what I believe to be the future of crypto. Anyhow, Celestia's architecture is great, and it's got me super bullish, but my next reason to buy has me even more excited. And that's Celestia's red hot ecosystem. So far, they've already got some big guns using them, like Arbitrum, Polygon, and Manta Network. But that's not all. They also have 85 other projects using them, with more coming soon. Like Starknet recently announced that they're going to use Celestia, and it honestly looks like everyone in the modular blockchain world is rushing to use them. What's even more impressive is that all of this came within the first few months after the launch. Now, here's the thing. I'm not expecting for this red hot growth to cool down anytime soon. In fact, I'm expecting it to speed up. The reason why is because Celestia has deep ties in and around the crypto space. They have advisors from within the Cosmos ecosystem, and they also have deep ties to the group that built Facebook's crypto project. So that, plus their $55 million worth of funding, makes me super confident that they have what's needed to maintain their rocket ship growth. Now, my next reason to buy is dead simple, and it's the fact that buying TIA can help you make even more money. Let me explain. Recently, we've seen a wave of airdrops, such as Jito, give life-changing amounts of money to everyday investors. That has kicked off an airdrop season, where users rush to various projects in different ecosystems just to chase the latest opportunities. But if you're looking for airdrops, then there's no better thing you can do than stake TIA, because that gives you 15% APR from staking, plus extra airdrops on top of that. Current stakers are eligible for the Dimension, Saga, Manta, and Movement Labs airdrops. And if you're late to the party, don't worry, because there's plenty more to come. According to a report by Masari, you can expect around 1,600 to 3,200 in airdrop rewards for every 100 TIA staked, which is an extra 80 to 150% free return on your investment. So it's really a no-brainer to buy and stake. I mean, it's simple math. Anyhow, my next reason to bet on TIA has to do with their world-class founder, Mustafa Al-Bassam. When Mustafa was 16 years old, he co-founded the hacker group LulzSec, which successfully hacked the CIA. I'm not joking there, that's freaking crazy. But after that, he invented Chainspace, a smart contract platform that was eventually acquired by Facebook. So yeah, he's giving me the same boy genius vibes that I got from Vitalik Buterin back in the day. And to top it all off, he has a rockstar team behind him. So by now, you should know that a great way to invest in crypto is to bet on the team. And right now, there's no better team to bet on than Mustafa and his team. Alright, I bet you're super bullish and itching to buy some TIA right now. And before we get to my thought-provoking cons, I want to share with you a clutch trading strategy that I've been using lately. So we've clearly entered a bull market since late last year. But as you can see, that doesn't mean that there aren't some brutal corrections or chop along the way. Those can actually be quite hard to navigate by yourself as a trader or investor. So that's why I think it's a great idea to use trading bots, at least with the part of your portfolio, because those can help you implement various strategies in an automated manner. And that's much better than FOMO buying or panic selling if you do it all manually. Now, which bots should you use? Well, our partner 3 Commas has some of the best bots out there. They have dollar cost averaging bots, grid bots, and their new and improved signal bot can work with trading view indicators, and you can build strategies straight from there as well. So they have bots for all sorts of traders and for all sorts of market conditions. And if you decide you want to scale into TIA, well, perhaps you should use a 3 Commas bot to do so. Just check them out using my link below and you'll get up to 50% off your first subscription. Now, back to the cons, or the case against buying TIA. My first point is that TIA's short to midterm tokenomics are troublesome, to say the least. Only 20% of their initial token supply was allocated to the public, versus 53% that was allocated to insiders. And if we dig deeper, we see that seed investors are already up 200 to 2,000% on their investments. But hold up, if that's the case, then why hasn't the price dumped yet? Well, it's likely because a lot of their tokens are currently locked. Plus, the market is in a bullish phase right now. So perhaps it's November of 2024, aka their next big unlock date that we should be worried about, as that's when the heavy selling could occur. But wait, there's more, because TIA also has a super high inflation rate. In its first year, its inflation rate comes in at a whopping 8%. And while that does decrease every year, it won't reach its terminal rate of 1.5% for a long time. So that's not really going to be helpful for the here and now. Anyway you slice it, TIA's tokenomics are bad, so that's definitely a big cause for concern. Now, my next concern is that TIA's valuation is divorced from its fundamentals. Back in September, a Masari analyst wrote that for Celestia's 2.75 billion fully diluted valuation to make sense, it would have to have twice as much roll-up activity as Ethereum. Well, fast forward to today, Celestia's FDV now sits at 18 billion, an increase of 6x. So if you thought that 2.75 billion number was already high, well, now it's exponentially worse. I mean, just look at how much revenue Celestia is generating compared to its competitors. Its monthly transaction fee comes in at around $667,000 if we do some rough math. But in comparison, Polygon brings in $2 million per month, Avalanche brings in $2.1 million, and Arbitrum $7.6 million. If we do some further calculations to get the ratio between their valuations and their monthly revenue, we see that Arbitrum, Avalanche, and Polygons are between 2200 to 6700x, which is already high, but Celestia's is a whopping 25,000x, which is ridiculous, and a slap in the face to anyone who cares about fundamentals. So my point is, we gotta be careful here, as Celestia would need an explosion in usage in order to justify its valuation. Otherwise, it's gonna be yet another crypto bubble that eventually pops. Now, my next reason to potentially not buy is that its current flywheel may be unsustainable. I mentioned before that airdrops are a great reason to buy TIA, but the more that TIA airdrops become known, the more they're gonna get diluted. And when they get diluted, people will realize that their opportunity cost of staking TIA for 21 days is not quite as appealing as before. That's when we'll see a capital rotation, where degens go elsewhere to chase gain. And that'll likely add a lot of downwards pressure to the price of TIA, which should worry anyone holding a bag of it. Anyhow, my next concern is a lot more urgent in nature. It's the fact that Celestia has a bunch of competitors nipping at its heels. For example, Near Protocol has a data availability solution that's currently being touted as the next big thing. Like Celestia, Near DA is also being integrated into chains like Polygon and Arbitrum. But where they differ is that Near DA will have even lower fees than Celestia, like 30x lower to be precise. And then there's Polygon Avail, and even Ethereum itself may become a formidable DA solution when its EIP 4844 upgrade gets released. So my takeaway here is that while TIA is the hottest thing on the block right now, everyone may jump ship as soon as the next big thing comes to town. And that's definitely a reason for concern. Well, that was a lot of pros and cons to consider, wasn't it? But here's my final verdict. I'm bullish short term, but neutral long term. Because although you can argue that TIA is currently overvalued, there are no token unlocks in the next 10 months, meaning that we don't have to worry about insider selling pressure for now. And in the short to midterm, TIA has room to run for all the reasons I listed in my pros section. But I would definitely take profits before the November unlocks, as that's what I'm personally worried about. Anyways, if you like this type of pros and cons video, then watch my time to buy SOL video right here. Otherwise, don't forget to use my link below to get 3 commas trading bots with up to 50% off, and you can use those to acquire TIA in a strategic manner.